right, y'all, welcome back and happy Wednesday. We've been breaking down Tennessee versus Oklahoma for the past couple of days. We broke down all the stats, the offense versus the defense on both sides. And we also jumped inside of the film room on some live streams. So if y'all missed any of that, you definitely want to go back and check it out. But we're going to put all that together in this video, and I'm going to give you my keys to victory for Tennessee and a game prediction. And the game prediction is going to come at the very end of this video. But we're also going to be going live tonight at 7:30 for the midweek chat, and we want to hear from y'all. So Oklahoma fans, y'all are definitely welcome. Fans of other fan bases, y'all are also welcome. But we want to hear, what do you think is going to be a positive thing for your team, negative, whatever. Y'all can go back and forth inside of the chat. Like, what have y'all seen that maybe we haven't talked about? And then Ruck from Straight Up Tennessee, love his content, very passionate ball fan. He's going to be joining us. He always brings excellent insight, so I'm excited to hear what he has to say, along with Timmy G and J-Pat, but obviously we are most looking forward to hearing from y'all. So again, that starts at 7:30, and we'll take it at least all the way through the first injury list that does drop tonight around 8:15. So we might go to maybe like about 8:30. Well, you know, we can't really get to your chats if you come in too late, so try to get there on time so that we can get to you. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So with all that being said, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Oh, last thing, I think we might have maybe some shockers and surprises in a positive way for our Tennessee Volunteers on that first injury list. So let's go on ahead and get started. All right. Number one key for me for Tennessee to win this football game versus Oklahoma, we have to be able to pick up blitzes and stunts. As y'all can see, man, Oklahoma, they run more stunts and more blitzes than anybody else in this conference. And that's a huge part of their defense. You know, it's a huge part in why their stats look as good as they do. And, you know, about 19 of their 30 sacks, those numbers come from Pro Football Focus. That's come from the blitz. 17 of them came from stunts. Some of it could have been a blitz and a stunt. But either way, Tennessee's, I think, probably needs to try to slow things down in this game. I know some folks want us to go fast, tempo. But that was more of like a gimmick with an offense that was super basic. This offense, like, it's graduated past that point, y'all, where we've got so many more answers. It's going to make more sense for us to take our time, get into the right play call, make sure that we know where all the blitzes are coming from, the offensive line, running backs, tight ends, know who to pick up, the wide receivers, and, you know, whoever else. They know where their hot routes are, because we could come out with the first play and, you know, Oklahoma gives us a look and we don't like it, but then we can change it. That's why you want to maybe get up to the line of scrimmage quickly, but don't necessarily go super tempo, right? And that's something that Ole Miss did last week, okay? And I think that helped them out. So that is, I think, the biggest key to this game. That's probably the thing that I'm worried about the most in this whole game. But number two for me, our defensive tackles have to step up. So they've played pretty poorly for the past couple of games. The last game, they played really bad. I'm not sure what all's going on, but we all know that in football, it starts up front. You want to stop the run, and I think Oklahoma's going to try to run the football more in this game. Early on, we can't show them that they can run it, because if they can start to run it, we will be in a world of trouble. But that really starts with your defensive tackles. They have to hold their gaps. I want to see more pop on our stunts. It's been pretty slow and like a days ago, not a whole lot of force. We had to do a lot better there. We can do way better there. That should be one of the strengths of this entire defense. But they also have to pressure the quarterback more. Not even just from, hey, man, we're getting off blocks and getting to him, which, of course, that's great. But you got to push the pocket back. Part of the reason our sacks haven't looked as good for the past couple of weeks is because our defensive tackles just haven't played well. Everything works in concert. So that's another huge one. But key number three for me, man, just like sticking with the front four, our defensive ends, they should dominate. They will be going up against two true freshman offensive tackles. And it's been that way for all of the season, but not as much as it was last weekend. You know what I'm saying? So for Oklahoma, they played their two true freshmen at offensive tackle for most of that game versus Ole Miss, if not all of it, which I don't fully understand. I hope that they do it again. But with those guys being young, I mean, they'll be good. I think, you know, way down the line. But right now, we should definitely be able to dominate. Like, we got a bunch of veterans, a whole bunch of dogs, you know, playing on the outside. Like, they should absolutely eat. And it's not just about the pass rush, but they also have to maintain their pass rushing lanes. They have to set good, strong edges in that running game. So it's going to be big for Tennessee's front four. All right. It's going to be really, really big for them. Now, key number four for me, and we always talk about this one too, we have to tackle and we have to catch. Just basic fundamental football. We did a lot better job catching last week, but we can talk about just like the catching numbers first. Tennessee is dropping 13% of our passes over the course of the year. That's dead last in the SEC, which is obviously horrible. Again, looked so much better last week, right? The only drop that we had was from one of our running backs. I think that it was Bishop, but we've lost, okay, at least 250 yards from drops. So the way that they count this is where you were at when you dropped the football. They don't look at, well, was there anyone, like, did you drop it and there's no one past you and you could have scored and you could have got more yards? None of that. So at least 250 yards have been lost from those drops. So if we can just continue to be consistent with that, we can, start to stack up weeks where we're catching the football, then I think that our offense will definitely be fine. But just as far as like the missed tackles, Tennessee is missing 14% of our tackles over the course of the year. And up to this point last season, it was the exact same rate, okay, 14%. So that's tied in 12th place in the SEC. I think that there's 3 other teams that have the exact same missed tackle rate. It's going to look worse for Tennessee because our defense is on the field longer than other defenses are. But we're on the field, I think, maybe more than any other team in the entire country, which is another part of the reason why you want to slow things down on offense and keep the defense off the field. But we've given up over 1,300 yards after contact. I would say probably about like 1,000 of that is just from straight up missed tackles. I mean, obviously, that first contact, sometimes people are going to, kind of like move you forward some, right? Like they'll fall for some. So you'll give up some yards, but that's just way too much. That's way too many. And I mean, if you're looking at the stats with our defense, that would be so much better. It's not going to be like we're not going to take away all 1,300 yards, but I would say that we could take away about 600 to 700 of it, if we were just like a average tackling team. So just wrap up, man, just like basic fundamentals. I know that the coaches are going to harp on it. You work on fundamentals every single day, but it's going to be up to the players to do what they're coached to do. Okay. Like you just got to make up your mind that you will tackle. And we have to just continue to flow to the football hard. And as long as Tennessee does that, I think that we'll be fine. You could also look at just, 1,300 yards given up after contact. What that says is a lot of times, right? Our defense is in a good spot to make the plays. So the scheme isn't really what the problem is. The problem is with the execution. But that's obviously like those two things going to be huge in this game. All right, so key number 5, man, we have to compete in coverage. And I mean that for everybody that is going to be dropping in coverage, but mostly I'm talking about Tennessee stars. So listen, Oklahoma does a really good job with their slot players. So our star is typically going to be the one that's guarding their slots. We're not good in coverage, especially versus inside routes. So we have to fight harder there. Like that's got to be a real true fight. You can't just let them hit on slants and stuff. Any of the short stuff that comes to the inside, you got 5 yards where you can just go to work. And we need to do that because their wide receivers are smaller, okay? Now, you can't get beat off of the line of scrimmage, but you can be physical with them, okay? So with good technique, with really good, like, fundamentals, we can be more physical than they are and slow down a whole lot of the, like, quick game stuff and then help our pass rush to be able to get home. So it's kind of like the opposite with the things downfield, and this is just like everybody. We have to relax downfield. Don't panic. Trust your coaching. You'll give up some things, but when you panic, that's when you just have no chance. All right. So if you're in phase, you can make a play on the football. If you're not, then you got to fight through somebody's hands. Just relax. And just because they will throw the football down the field, right? But if we're just relaxing down the field in coverage, we don't give up some of like the cheap PI calls, some of the cheap holding calls where, hey, it was a bad football. It wasn't thrown accurately because the pressure is getting there. But you just gave him a free first down because you couldn't just calm down, as you're getting further down the field. So that's key number 5. Now, key number 6, we always talk about this one. The ball is gold. We got to take good care of it. Y'all can see the rankings for both offenses and for both defenses. Funny thing is that Tennessee and Oklahoma, exact same, right? Ranked number 73, so we're tied there. But they have 6 picks. We have 6 picks. They lost 4 fumbles. We also lost 4 fumbles. But then on defense, they don't do a very good job of generating turnovers. Tennessee does a great job of it. I think we're also like the highest scoring defense in the SEC. One of the top in the entire country. I think we're like top 3. Either way, though, right? We have to make sure that these numbers either get better or I would say at least stay consistent. We can't let it be worse. Like we can't let Oklahoma's defense, this is the game where they start to generate turnovers. And because they bring so much pressure, I mean, sometimes you make some bad passes. So much pressure plus funky coverages and all that, which again, like I said, in key number 1, we got to slow things down so that we're all on the same page and little stuff like that doesn't happen. It's also going to be getting colder. So sometimes when it gets colder, the ball gets hard, gets slick. I don't know if it's going to be that cold just yet, but hold on to the football, so on and so forth. Take it away. All right. So last key, man, is going to be Neyland Stadium. We've got to be loud. We've got to be consistently loud when we're on defense. I don't care if we give up a 3rd and 50. I don't care. We have to come right back and be even louder. My mindset when I'm at games is, I wasn't loud enough because the offense, they got this first down or they made a big play, whatever. But that has to be the mindset. We're there to do a job. We're not just there spectating. So I have to do that. And first reason why is there's something called increased mental workload and fatigue. What that means is whenever you're trying to concentrate on getting something done, and there's this constant loud noise, your brain has to overwork so that you can focus better, so that you can figure out what you're trying to do, and that makes you tired. It is a huge deal. We have to do that. And then at number two, Oklahoma only has 8 false starts so far this year, which is fifth best in the SEC. Only 4 came on the road. Neyland should be good for at least 4 false starts, if not 8. Okay, if we really are dedicated to being loud, to having Neyland really rocking and shaking, we could generate 8 false starts, and obviously that puts our defense in a great spot. So last thing, the defense can time those silent counts, which is big because obviously if it's too loud, the offense has to go silent count, and that's going to help out with the pass rush. It's going to help us to generate the turnovers, make the big plays, so on and so forth. So those are my 7 keys, and this is my game prediction. Put down at the very bottom. Hopefully y'all can see it. This isn't to be taken literally, y'all. This is just like an overview of how I see this game playing out. I'm just using stats to paint a picture and how I see this game playing out, okay? So for Tennessee's offense, I think that we'll come out maybe we might come out trying to pass it, but I do think that there's going to be a conscious effort to be more balanced. Hopefully we can be more run first, but I'm just thinking about Coach Heupel having played and coached at OU, understanding that, man, last season he couldn't showcase his offense, which is his baby, the high-flying stuff down the field, all of that. We couldn't really do it because OU had a really good game plan versus our old system. I think that was probably like the first game that was, hey, man, we might need to switch some things up. But I think that now that we have switched some things up, we'll probably try to showcase and we can still throw it down the field. You know what I mean? So I think that we will try to take some deep shots, but I do think that we're going to try to be smart about, hey, man, we need to win this game. We got to keep our defense off the field. So ultimately, I think that it's going to turn into, hey, it's still more pass first, but kind of balanced. So 32 rushes for about 4.4 yards per carry. Because Oklahoma likes to do all the different stunts and blitzes, they can take themselves out of certain gaps on run plays. Do we have some things dialed up for that? Can we time it up right? Do we understand what their tendencies are? I think that if that's the case, we could have some really big runs, but also think that they're going to be conscious in trying to stop our running game because we ran the football a lot on them last season. Now, passing-wise, they have us going 25 of 38, which is about 66%, 262 yards. If things are really operating well, if we can pick up all the blitzes, if we can figure out how to get the football down the field, it could be more than that. I think that we could maybe get up to about 350. I mean, we could really have a good game passing, honestly speaking, because it's a good matchup, man. Like, we've got tall wide receivers. Their guys are kind of short. Like, some of them are kind of short. We can get them isolated. Just throw up jump balls, and you can do that off of 3-step drops. So will they do like the one-on-one that the Wildcats did last week? Probably not as much. But if we can scheme it up, then I think that we can find a lot of success down the field. Okay. And then too, also, I think that Tennessee's probably going to try to utilize our screen game more. Like, you have to do that versus a team that runs so many blitzes and, stunts and all that. So, I think that that'll help us out. But with our defense, I have us getting 4 sacks. Something that people probably didn't know is that Tennessee, I think, is number 4 or number 5, just as far as the blitzes that we bring in the SEC. So we bring a whole lot of blitzes too. Not as much as Oklahoma, obviously, but we still bring a lot. So teams want to try to screen you. Teams want to try to just throw the football quick, a whole lot of 3-step drop type stuff. So can we find a way to get some pressure? I think still, 4 sacks. But if we force them into, hey, like they can't get anything going quick, then that could turn into even more than that. I really feel that way just because, like we talked about with our offensive tackles, not super great, but I think that we could force a couple of like strip sacks or, whatever. So I think we will have some fumbles. I also think that we'll get an interception in this game. We haven't had a pick in several games now, but I think that this is the game that's going to happen just because, like, man, I've talked about that since like preseason, but I'm just feeling it, with the pressure getting there, quarterback, desperate to try to make some plays. I could definitely see that happening. Now for Oklahoma, I think that they're also going to come out and try to be run first. What I'm banking on and what I'm hoping is that we're going to stuff the run enough that they start trying to pass it more and they get away from running it, because if they're balanced, they're going to be hard to deal with. I also think that number 24 is going to get the start over number 6. Number 24 is like 240. He's going to run downhill. And I just think that he's an overall better back. So I wouldn't be shocked if he actually starts in this game. But I have him getting 28 carries total for about 4.8 yards per carry. Passing wise, I got him dropping back and throwing it 40 times. hitting on 28 of them. They're gonna, kind of like do the same thing, running a whole bunch of screens and stuff. So I think that'll help them out to be at about 70%. But I'm thinking about 250 passing. I know that our defense has a tendency to make quarterbacks just like look great, which I think that he will look good. I mean, obviously, 250 yards, that's good. But I just think that this is going to be like a perfect storm where the defense is going to play better, where Nealon's going to have a big impact. I think that the pressure is going to start to come back, and I just don't think that they'll be able to operate as much down the field. So outside of that, for their defense, I have them getting 3 sacks, of course, with all the different stunts and blitzes. I mean, we can probably pick up most of it, but sometimes we might miss a couple of things, right? So we have to watch out for that. Maybe a forced fumble coming off of a strip sack for them, and also think that we could potentially throw an interception. And I'm hoping that that doesn't happen, obviously. But with all the pressure, with the way that they mix up their coverages and all of that, I could definitely see that happening as well. But I do have Tennessee winning this football game, y'all. I do. I have us winning it. The closer that we're getting to kickoff, the more confident that I'm feeling. But I would love to hear y'all's thoughts down in the comments section. I hope that y'all can join us later on at 7:30 for the midweek chat. All right. And with all that being said, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will see y'all tonight. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching, and please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.